compact 5-volt DC powered vacuum generator is divided into 5 parts: piston cylinder arrangement, linkage mechanism, 2 DC servo setup, both linked with a push rod, a 3-channel CCPM servo consistency master or servo tester, an air intake and outtake valve system. There are 2 valves on this DC vacuum generator. The first is the air intake valve, which is inside this hose right here, and it has a one-way valve which allows air to flow into the cylinder during the intake stroke of this piston, which prevents it from flowing back during the compression stroke. The discharge or outtake valve. This is the second valve, and it permits the expulsion of air from the cylinder during the compression stroke, but prevents it from flowing back during the intake stroke. What is intake and compression stroke? Intake stroke is when the piston moves away from the nose of the cylinder. The pressure inside the cylinder decreases due to expanding volume. This reduced pressure causes the air intake valve to open, allowing air to enter the cylinder. The spring inside the valve ensures it closes when the piston starts moving back towards the nose of the cylinder. Compression stroke. This is when the piston reverses direction and moves towards the nose of the cylinder, reducing the volume. This compresses the air within the cylinder. The increasing pressure forces the discharge valve to open, which allows the pressurized air to flow out. Here's how everything works together. Once the servo pulls the piston back, there will be low pressure in the cylinder, which causes air to rush into the cylinder via the air intake valve. Once the servo pushes the cylinder, it compresses the air in the cylinder, which pushes out air out of the discharge valve. Now, the servos do this continuously, drawing air from the intake valve, which is inside the hose, and dumping it out using the discharge valve. With this mechanism, air can be drawn from a chamber to create a vacuum, or air can be drawn from a nylon or a plastic bag or a plastic container in order to vacuum seal fresh food for food preservation. We also have the linkage mechanism, which is a steel rod that transfers the push and power and torque from the 2 servos to the piston to carry out the intake and compression stroke. Single SG90 servo motor is not enough to drive this cylinder, so 2 SG90 servo motors are used and linked with a push rod. The third part is the push piston cylinder arrangement. The piston and cylinder arrangement used for this project is actually a 50 ml and a 20 ml medical syringe repurposed for this experiment.